Welcome to Leading the Follower with your host, Rebecca Benston. Good morning and welcome to Leading the Follower with Rebecca Benston. I am here once again on a Friday morning to talk with you a little bit about the things I've been thinking about this week. I think on Monday, the main point of the message that I was trying to make was that we need to really work on being good to each other. And I've been thinking about this all week. And earlier in the week, I did something that didn't seem like a big deal to me. It just seemed like something that you would do if you saw that it needed to be done. And for some reason, and this kind of bothered me a little bit, for some reason my daughter says to me, "That was nice of you," as though it was completely unexpected that I would do something that was nice for someone. And it started me thinking, am I really that type of person these days in my life? Have I really become so difficult of an individual that even the simplest of things that really don't seem like much come across as being a big deal for me to have done? I mean, at what point does that just look like my normal way of doing things? It shouldn't have even been anything that made a difference one way or another. But for some reason, this action looked out of character for me. And I worried about that all week. I thought, if doing something good looks to be out of character for me, then what is it that I look like to other people as I go through my daily business? I mean, I really try to keep to myself. I try to be just very neutral about things. I try not to get upset with many different things, but I am a hothead. I have a temper. I've always been that way. I'm decidedly nicer than I was when I was younger. I was a little bit more hot-tempered then, but I'm seeing some of that come around again as I get older and less patient with things. And I thought about it, and I thought, here's the reason. And this is why I'm titling this podcast in the way that I am today. As I've gotten older, my reaction time to things is different. My ability to absorb different types of pain is different. And the wear and tear of being in survival mode for a good portion of my life has really taken a toll. And so my natural response is not as sensitive and caring as I would like for it to be. I would like to come across a little more approachable, and I'm just not coming across that way. I think this is something that I have been working on, but not to the extent that it's made a huge difference. And it occurred to me that it's not that I'm not nice. It's not that I don't have lots of people I talk to, who think that I'm a pretty decent person. it's that in my daily interactions, I'm not showing the light. I'm not showing the culmination of all the work that God has done in me to fix some of the things that were broken. However, with that in mind, we have to understand that the degree to which a person is broken differs with each person. And if someone has gone through a lot of different things in their life, it may take them a very long time and a whole lot of work to get to a place where they can shine the same kind of light that, say, another person who hasn't gone through as much might be able to show. Um, Pain and abuse and trauma all takes a toll on an individual's ability to shine. And I have to say, I have been through a lot of different things in my life that have chipped away at my ability to shine in the way that my heart wants to. So while inside I may feel like radiating all of this great positive light to people, and I try in the ways that I'm capable of doing so, I try to spread some kind of encouragement and positivity, but it doesn't always come through in other interactions with people. If, say, something is wrong in an order or something like that, there are days when I can hold it together and act like a civil person and just be like, you made a mistake. Can you fix this for me? And be okay with it. However, there are days when I meet people who aren't in the mood to shine at all, and they meet my requests with their own problems that they're having, and they don't want any part of trying to be good or positive or encouraging. So that triggers back my tendency to be kind of angry and short with people who are disrespectful. And so we go back and forth that way. So I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that when you recognize how you react and respond to different things, then you can work a little harder on trying to react correctly and appropriately to what other people are going through. And you can anticipate that if someone else is having a bad day and they come at you in such a way that is, you know that they're not really like that, you know that there was no good call for them to come at you that way, then there's probably more to that than just you're complaining about something and they don't want to hear it. Um, and yeah, I'm really, I'll be the first to admit, I'm really bad about when I'm inconvenienced in some way because I'm spread so thin, and I try to do so much in a day. I tend to really lose my composure sometimes, and I don't respond to people in a way that is understanding, and I will admit that up front. I try very, very hard not to be a jerk about things, but there are times when I am decidedly a jerk. And generally, I will own that. And I will say, I'm sorry, this is not you. It's not you that I'm upset with. It's the situation, or it's the fact that I'm dealing with this, this, and this, and it has nothing to do with you. But but you have to have an opportunity to do that. Sometimes you don't have an opportunity to go back and tell somebody, I know that I said that wrong. I know that I did that wrong, and I need to make amends for that with you because you did not have that coming. Um, so anyway, I just thought about um, my own tendency to jump back at someone or to be angry or negative. Comes from a place of survival. It comes from either an emotional or physical or financial or spiritual battle that I'm having internally. And usually, if I don't respond to something in a way that is positive or encouraging or even just civil, I'm having a struggle internally on that particular day, in that particular moment, that I have not been able to resolve. And it's not anyone else's problem but mine. However, if we are all understanding of each other's stuff, it can make a big difference in how we interact with one another. because I know that I'm much more likely to kind of not necessarily back down. That's not the phrase I want to use, but I'm more likely to chill out a little bit if the person that I'm barking at or whatever says to me, "Hey, I understand where you're coming from, and I'm sorry that you're having this difficulty, but this is what I can do for you." Instead of, "This is our policy and this and that." And so many customer service policies are like that these days, where they don't teach the people who are on the other end of the phone that this human being that spent their money, that worked all week to be able to make this purchase with your company, is upset because you didn't hold up your end of the bargain. And so coming at them with "Well, this is the only thing we can do for you," or "This is our policy" type thing, is not usually going to be met with, "Oh, okay, I get it." so, um, so that that needs to be fixed on another level. Um, but if you have, like I have had, some really great representatives. One that comes to mind um, was the lady from Weight Watchers. I had tried their membership for a while, and it didn't necessarily work in the way that I needed it to. It wasn't something that was convenient for me, and I didn't want to do that at that point in time. And so I had tried to call and cancel the membership that I had. I thought I had it all taken care of. But then about a week later, I had a charge from them, and I called, and I got quite possibly the nicest customer service representative that I've spoken to in years on the phone that day. And I talked to her for quite a while, and we kind of shared some things with each other about what we were struggling with, and it was just a very nice conversation. She treated me like a human being who appreciated my situation, and I appreciated that she was helping me with my problem. She resolved it, and we were both happy when we got off the phone. And there was no disrespect. There was nothing angry or harsh in the conversation. It was just the way that sort of conversation should go. And I really appreciated that. And anytime that I talk with someone who's supposed to be customer service and I have that kind of a conversation, I'm always more likely to go back to that particular store or business to do more work with them when the time comes for me to do that. Um, but there are other businesses that will give you the runaround, and they don't care that they're giving you the runaround. And that does trigger a lot, especially with people who are struggling to pay their bills. You know, um, it brings to mind a conversation I had with our electric company. They do not want to be cooperative for the most part. 9 times out of 10, when you call to get help with something, um, the representatives you get are not willing to talk with you about things. They're not solution oriented. They're not people oriented, or at least the ones that I've been getting haven't been. So when I got one there that was decent, it really surprised me, and it did help take the sting out of that, because that is a company that you are not able to live life without dealing with. Um, so really, it makes a difference how we receive each other's complaints, how we receive each other's requests, and those kinds of things. And I thought, well, coming back to what I was talking about at the beginning of this, is it really that out of character for me to do something nice for someone? I mean, yes, the person that I did the nice thing for is someone that has not been very nice to me, and it probably did look strange for me to be doing anything that was uh, that was helpful or whatever. Because generally, if someone is not civil to me or not nice or they're disrespectful in some way, I tend to just ignore them or just move on through my day and just try to steer clear so that we don't have any kind of words with each other. Since it is the Christmas season, I have been thinking a lot about the movie The Christmas Carol, um, or A Christmas Carol, rather. And I watch some sort of variation of that story every year. It's one of my favorites. And I like all different, kind of retellings of that story. I've watched Scrooged and A Christmas Carol, the animated version with the Jim Carrey character, um, the older versions with like Patrick Stewart or George C. Scott. Any of those are very, very interesting stories, and usually I'll watch one or the other of those every year, just in passing for Christmas. And the funniest thing struck me as I was thinking about this earlier today. What if what if Ebenezer Scrooge was not such a terrible person, but he was just in survival mode? What if I know everybody said he had money and he was rich and all this, but what if he was so emotionally and psychologically depleted that he could not have a decent conversation with other people, and it made him difficult to be around, and it made him someone that people didn't want to interact with? And that's how he dealt with it, through being a penny pincher or being stingy with the one thing that he had. He didn't have the emotional um, capacity to be much more than he was, and he didn't have the psychological ability, because he was struggling with something. Obviously, when you have dreams like that, um, of your past, present, and future, you're struggling with something. Um, but what if he used the only resource he had to try and get people to be close to him? Because that's all he could use, because he didn't have anything else to work with. What if we looked at it from that angle instead of, here's this mean old guy that had all this money, and um, the only way that he could be taught to be nice to others was to be scared half to death by these three ghosts that took him around and showed him the consequences of his actions. What if it wasn't that he needed to see the consequences in so much as he needed for someone to understand what he'd already been through in his life and the kind of pain that that put him through? He didn't seem to have anyone from what I saw, because he had pushed everyone away in the times that he had been in pain. And I think we all do that when we are going through things. As I said, when I'm in survival mode, um, as I feel like I have been for many, many years in one respect or another, I tend to push people away. When I'm struggling with um, loss of any kind in my life, when I'm worried about someone in my family, or I'm worried about money, or I'm worried about my own health, or something like that, I tend to push people away so that I can build up my protection around myself, so that whatever happens, I'm braced for. And I may not be the nicest person in those times. I may be very distant and very difficult to engage with. And I may just be operating from what I have. And sometimes it's more than others, but sometimes it's just, this is what I can give you. This is all I got. Um, Maybe that's what he was going through. I think when we think about it in terms of that, the story takes on a little bit different meaning. At least for me, it's like, at what level should we have compassion for someone like that? Well, at all levels. Doesn't matter if he looks like he has everything. Doesn't matter if he looks like he has it all together. Doesn't matter if it looks like he has more than you or me. Um, he still deserves compassion. He still deserves to be looked at as someone who could probably use a shoulder to cry on when things go badly. Um, as does anyone that we come into contact with in our lives. No matter how together a person may seem or how much they may have going for them, um, it always helps to know that there are people out there who are willing to hear you when you call out for help, and when you say, I'm in pain, or I'm hurting over this, and or I'm scared, you know anything like that. And just imagine how isolated you would be if you had to just protect yourself from everything because you knew that no one else was there for you. um, how would that feel? Probably not very good. And it wouldn't take three ghosts to show you that. You don't necessarily need more examples of what's wrong when you're already so submerged in all of the bad things. So think about that when you're dealing with people over the weekend. We're in our last few days before Christmas. I know people are out there shopping for last minute gifts and trying to get things together for their dinners and things they have coming up on Monday. But think about what the person next to you is going through. Did they have enough money to get everything they needed? Did they have enough money and time and resources to get what they wanted for the people that they love? Do they feel like a failure, or do they feel like they accomplished what they needed to accomplish this year? As we're wrapping the year up, did they can they look back and say that they did what they meant to do this year? And how is that weighing on them? Are they ending the year on better or worse terms than they started it with? All things that we need to keep in mind, because it's not really just about us. It's not really just about our individual story and how disgusted we are with our personal situation, if we are, or how happy we are with our personal situation. If we ever expect to have decent relationships or interactions with each other, we have to look outside of what we're going through, what we've been through, and understand that other people are dealing with things too. And so I think that's what I want to leave you with when you're celebrating your Christmas holiday. Just remember, there are people out there who who need support but can't get it. There are people out there who need emotional support but don't have anywhere to turn for that. And maybe it's been so long since they had that support that they don't even know how to ask for it, and they don't know how to pursue it without it being very awkward or difficult for them. Um, think about that when you see someone struggling to have a decent conversation, or um, struggling to put their best foot forward wherever they are. None of this is easy. And I think we fail to give grace in the areas that we need to give grace in. But we're pretty quick to forgive some of the dumbest things. Um, so try to think about how you felt when you were struggling. How did you feel when you hit a time in your life where maybe you didn't have the support you needed to get through it? What did you do? How did you handle that? And then, think about what you needed, and then think about how you could provide that for someone else who's in the same situation. And don't be afraid to reach out and encourage someone even when it seems like kind of the lame thing to do, it's probably going to be more welcome than you would expect. Um, Within boundaries, of course. I mean, if someone's not a hugger, don't attack them with a hug. Um, but just let them know that if they need someone to talk to, you're there. If you are in fact there and you want to hear it. But try to look past your anger and your disgust and disappointment or whatever it is you're dealing with, and let's not give people more bad days than they're already having. I'll leave it at that. I will be back to talk to you on Monday. Yes, I know that is Christmas. It'll be a brief Christmas message for you, but I will talk to you for a bit on Monday. I hope you have a fantastic weekend and that you are able to get everything you need so that you can have a good day with family and friends for Christmas. God bless. Thanks for stopping by. Be sure to check out our website and blog. The blog is at www.leading-the-follower.com. Thanks and God bless.